Good morning, Aboro Aboye. Good morning, Aboro Aboye. This is Oluo Fakoladev Idinka Ifa Temple. We welcome you all for tapping in with us. 8 in the morning. We thank you. Thank you so much. We get everything set. All right. Let's begin with prayer. Mojuba Olorum, Mojuba Leda, Mojuba Olorumari, Mojuba Bobo Rumale, Mojuba Bobo Male, Mojuba Bobo Egun Tembele, Solorumare, Mojuba Miss, Mother Dear Lucille Dainsbury, Mojuba Doris Hall, Mojuba Basement, Mojuba Fidelis, Mojuba Cupidanis Watkins, Mojuba Dali, Mojuba Time, Mojuba Nago, Mojuba Cupidoms, Mojuba Cupa Watkins, Mojuba Janida, Mojuba Kitty Belly, Mojuba Ski Belly, Mojuba James Owens, Mojuba Benino Chino, Oneville Mill, no Black Guy, Dennis, Agustinville Mill, Mojuba Bobo Egun Tembele, Solomai. Jogbe. He who hears people's pleas and accepts the pleas. He who hears people's pleas and approves pleas. He who talks people and ensures that the talk is completely absorbed. He who hears people pleas and accepts the pleas is named Rifa. He who hears people pleas and approves pleas is named Shodar. He who talks people and ensures that the talk is completely absorbed is named Orishanla. Orishanla, you the person most beings. The person most one cannot fail to impress one. Strike frogs on some's rainfall. Both frogs on some's downpour. It is whatever the accurate rage will pull on Tweedle tells Earth, what Earth accepts. Whatever the big rat tells Earth, what Earth accepts. All what I tell you, if I please accept them and approve them. O Turete, to show gratitude upon gratitude is the alva gratitude. To display benevolence upon benevolence is the alva benevolence. Whoever does not show gratitude for yesterday's benevolence, such a person not receive today's gratuity. These were the decoration 5. To the foreign run rumorle, when going to marry Ope, daughter of Buji. I'm grateful I see my gratuity. I'm grateful for yesterday's favor. I'll see today's gratuity. O Turete, we're very grateful. I share. Awa dupe, awa bure, awa dupe, awa bure, adupe, ana bure tunebo, Olodumare, awa dupe, awa bure, awa dupe, awa bure. Arupe ana obure tunebo orian awa dupe awa bure awa dupe awa bure arupe ana obure tunebo irumale awa dupe awa bure awa dupe awa bure adupe anawa obure tunebo legulorisha. Olodumare and the divinities, we thank you for life, health, strength, food, clothing, and shelter. We thank you for all the good things you've provided for us. We ask for forgiveness on Eros Tutu. Pounding down without soup can be very difficult to consume. These were the decorations of Vifa to Tutu. The child of Agbeneregun, he was full of bad character. He's bad attitude at preventing it from Tifa's domain. Now comes this list on behalf of Tutu. We've come to beg on behalf of Tutu. Father, please be patient. Overlook this provocation. Those who beg on behalf of Tutu. How many children does Ifa have that he would cast one out? Those who beg on behalf of Tutu. Ashe. If we call on the Odu, Ogbela, Orumla says it's time to sleep. I echoed it's time to sleep. When the day dawned, I met Orumla in the 16th room, where he covered his head with a flowing gown full of lice. He was wearing a dress full of bloodstains. He was snoring heavily. They told him that a delegate from his disciple arrived. Orumla inquired what the delegate brought. They told him they brought 2 rats with them running, 2 fish great from swimming, 2 birds swift in flight, and 2 ghosts with big livers. Orumla said that's not enough to wake him up. I admit my ignorance. Please educate me. Motuna Karaba, I hide myself in your bosom and survive. Motuna Karaba, the dog hang masquerade, be sagged by drum repeatedly. The dog hang masquerade, be sagged by drum repeatedly to perform rituals because of children. You are the leaders, we are the followers. Leaders are the ones who show the followers wisdom. Orumla told them to get alligator pepper, to get cola nut, to get bitter corn, to get alcohol. The Akapo got the alligator pepper, got the cola nut, got the bitter corn, and he got the alcohol. That is right. Now that he's fully awake. Orumla, when you are fully awake, is looking with eyes of compassion. It is with eyes of compassion that the heavenly stars sees and look at the stars below. Orumla, when you're fully awake, please look with eyes which help one to secure a good spouse. It's such good eyes that the heavenly stars use and look at the stars below. Orumla, when you're fully awake, please look with eyes which help one to bear many children and such good eyes a child should use and look at what a greater play. Before long, not too far, join us in the midst of all Iran life. I share. Ifa, at this time, we ask that you would continue to ward off them. Ward off sickness, ward off cases and controversy, ward off fights, ward off litigation, losses, and outright fights, ward off witchcraft and negative forces from us, ward off evil and danger from us. In its place, bring to us long life. Give us wealth, give us good spouse, give us good children, give us peace of mind, give us healing, give us victory, give us joy, give us all the good things of life at this time, Ifa. We call on Oshetra. Oshetra. Tiny other feet of Tubu, the stripe of a chameleon is not big enough to be his headgear. Had it been enough to be his headgear, I would have taken it home and adorned my head with it. These are decorations to Aurela. We're going on a spiritual mission to Jebelan. We've called on locust meat and permanent. Calling the South Hill and make it rich. We've called on Aurela with respect in the Jebelan. Oshetra is a good owl. Oshetra. I kick in Bagisa. The extract sharply against the tree, Cassifa for Rumla, when he was Iba and I shared from Olodamar. If no one touches wealthy, she'll be wealthy. I kick any baggy son. In the mouth of an hour, Zazibana, share in the mouth of an hour. If you want to have joy, you should surely have joy. I kick any baggy son. The mouth of an hour, Zazibana, share in the mouth of an hour. If no one to have victory, you surely have victory. I kick any baggy son. The mouth of an hour, Zazibana, share in the mouth of an hour. To, Essie, may it be so, surely shall it be. Àṣẹ òrìṣà lẹ́nu mi ò àṣẹ òrìṣà lẹ́nu mi. Bọ́bọ́n tí mo bá màmá wí o, ìrúmọlẹ̀ yóò bà. Ifá ò bá o àṣẹ òrìṣà lẹ́nu mi. Bímọ túrọ̀ tí mo súre. Bímọ bẹ̀rẹ̀ tí mo súre. Bímọ kúnlẹ̀ tí mo súre. Bímọ jókòó tí mo súre. Let us hold our head. Our Ori is our good luck charm. Ori eni larure yeni o, Ori eni larure yeni. Mojulo mi ufawa mori, Ori eni larure yeni. Ashe. Bobore chasu, Ifá ò bá Ọlọ́run. Àtìbàjájú Ifá ò bá Ọlọ́run ó ṣe àrùìlà Ifá ti bọ́. Olodumare and the divinities, we thank you for life. We thank you for health. We thank you for strength. We thank you for food, clothing, shelter. We thank you for all the good things that you have provided for us. Olodumare, we thank you. We ask that you will continue to ward off death. Continue to ward off illness, continue to ward off cases and controversy, ward off fights, litigation, losses, and outright fights from us. And in its place, bring to us long life, wealth, good spouse, good children, peace of mind, joy, healing, victory, and all the wonderful things of life. Ifa, we ask at this time also that you would help us to hear a good word of Ifa. Move my ego out of the way so that we can hear from Olodumare, we can hear from Ifa at this time. We ask that you would help us to really get to the center of today's surface, which is going from grass to grace. protect us all. Emma kamemene amo, Emma kamemene ano, Emma kamemene adelokun, tamole, tori ifa lonimi, ibora timpanini, ene banami, atifa lelejo, ashe. Once again, thank you everyone for joining us today. You could have been anywhere, but you tapping in with us today. Thank you all, everyone in Facebook, YouTube, Abora. Thank you all for joining us. Also, those on Instagram. Hopefully, Instagram is working well enough so that you can hear me without any static or any interruption. It's good to see you all here today. Thank you all again for joining us. So, today's service is going to be very important, instrumental, and invigorating because this to me is what a lot of us are trying to attain as we involve ourselves in not only the practice of Ifa, but in the practice of doing good. If you do good, you do what's right, it needs to have results. You need to see something as a result of doing good. I know it's a good idea to do good things for goodness sake, but the other thing is as we practice this beautiful tradition, the other thing is we want to be able to see our progress. And that's what we're talking about today is how do you progress? How do you go from grass to grace? And when we look at ourselves maybe 10 years ago, I want us to begin to analyze like how are we different? Are we different? Do we see any differences in our life? Do we see any differences in the way that we move? Do we see any differences in the way that our blessings have manifested, how we've progressed? Perhaps 10 years ago, you didn't have children and now you have children. 10 years ago, you were in a horrible relationship and now you're in a good relationship. Perhaps 10 years ago, you didn't have a home and now you have a home. And I want to talk about the feeling of what that feels like because that is, in essence, going from grass to grace. That's from going from nothing to something. And that is, as they say, going from ashy to classy. So we're going to talk about that today. So I want to begin with an Ifa verse from the Odu Ifa Ejiogbe. And on this Odu Ifa says, Ifa says that it is a gradual process. I say that it is a gradual process. Where is the rat of yesternight? The poor rat of yesternight is still alive. Let her continue to suffer. Let her continue to experience want. She will soon become great. She will soon become prominent. She will soon become Toro Fini, the leader among all rats. We have made Toro Fini the leader now. All rats, come and pay your tribute. All rats. Ifa says it is a gradual process. Ifa says it is a gradual process. I say it's a gradual process. Where is the poor fish of yesternight? Let her continue to suffer. Let her continue to experience want. She will soon become great. She will soon become prominent. She will soon become Akagbe, the leader of fish. We have made Akagbe the leader of all fish. Come and pay your tribute. All fish. Ifa says it is a gradual process. I say it is a gradual process. Where is the poor bird of yesternight? Let her continue to suffer. The poor bird is still alive. Let her continue to experience want. She will soon become great. She will soon become prominent. She will soon become Okini Nini, the leader among all birds. We have made Okin, the leader of all birds, come and pay tribute. All birds. Ifa says it is a gradual process. I say it is a gradual process. Where is the poor beast of yesternight? The beast of yesternight is still alive. Let her continue to suffer. She will soon become great. She will soon become prominent. She will soon become the Kinium, Ni, leader among all beasts. We have made Kinium, the leader among all beasts. Come and pay your tribute. All beasts. Ifa says it is a gradual process. I say it is a gradual process. Where is the poor man of yesternight? The poor man of yesternight is still alive. Let him continue to suffer. Let him continue to experience want. He will soon become great. He will soon become prominent. He will soon become Okanbi, the leader among all humans. We have made Okambi leader now of all humans. Come and pay your tribute, all humans. What is Ifa saying here? Ifa says that as long as you are alive, there is the potential for you to progress. As long as there's still breath in your lungs, as long as there's blood flowing in your veins, you have an opportunity to make tomorrow better than what today is. You have the ability to go from grass to grace. And Ifa is saying soon you'll be better than you are now. I remember years ago, one of my first Ifa divinations, Babalao told me, you'll be great. Just don't kill yourself. Don't commit suicide. Do not get so lost that you become desperate, in despair, that you will destroy yourself. Because the key to success oftentimes is longevity. The key to success is tenacity. The key to success is having an attitude that tomorrow will be greater than today. I will make tomorrow greater than today, always. And that is what Ifa is saying, is having this ability to stick to the process, no matter how difficult, no matter how many challenges that you might feel. Stick to the process. Continue going along the way. And people might insult you, people might hurt your feelings, but Ifa is saying, continue with what you are doing. In this, there's a powerful Odu Ifa, Owanri Meji. And in this Odu, Ifa says, the palm of the hand does not grow hair. This was the Ifa cast for Mofeni when he was in the midst of poverty. And he had to put himself in the borrowing of money in the house of Kifeani. He was advised to offer Abo. He complied. Before long, not too far, all good things in life came in abundance. Those who write one off, you know not tomorrow. Where there is life, there is hope. Those who write one off, you know not tomorrow. This is such a beautiful and powerful verse and a beautiful, powerful story. Ifa is saying so much, so much. Don't write anyone off. Those who write one off, you don't know what tomorrow will bring. Don't write yourself off. Where there's life, there's hope. As I said before, where there's breath in your veins, there will be a triumph eventually. That is what Ifa is telling us. In this story, there was a man by the name of Mofeni. And Mofeni was going through so many challenges. He went through so many challenges to such a degree that he ended up putting himself into slavery because he didn't have the money to pay his bills. He was in so much debt that he had to willfully put himself in a position of slavery and servitude. So as he did this, he put himself on the market, and he was struggling so much because his family members had died. He went into debt paying for funeral costs, went into debt trying to help family members become well again. And within that process, he became depressed. It is a good thing that he cast Ifa and offered whatever he had as a bow before. And he was purchased by a man by the name of Kifeani. And as Mofeni was put into slavery, he put himself into that slavery position. Kifeani was, in my opinion, he was a hater. He was a wicked person. And as Mofeni had himself in this slavery position, and he was working and doing his very best to work off his debt, he was indeed in the valley. He was indeed in a position where I'm sure everybody was looking at him like, man, I don't want to live a life like Mofeni. Mofeni is suffering. At a certain point, Mofeni began to start a small business, and his business was poultry. So he had chickens and had a nice chicken coop. He mated the chickens, bred them, and one chicken turned to 10, 10 turned to 20, and 20 turned to 30. So he had about 30 chickens and one hen. And as he was proceeding through his process of virtual servitude, he was also selling eggs and selling the byproducts of poultry. It got to a degree where Kifeani started to notice, wow, Mofeni is he's kind of making some ends meet, and he may soon be in a position where he will leave me. I don't want my slave to go. I want you to stay here. Have you ever met people who will not allow you to progress? People that you might have found yourself to have outgrown. People who consistently bring up the past, and they bring up old stories, bring up negative things. Remember when you did this? Remember when you was out there on drugs? Remember when you was in jail? Remember when you was lying and cheating? Remember when you were in gangs? Constantly remember all those negative things, and they try to bring you back into that space. They don't want to see you progress into the grace that you're destined to have. So Kifeani devised a plan. He wanted to keep Mofeni right where he was. So he put rocks and different things on top of the chicken coop roof so that it would collapse. And it collapsed and killed all the chickens in one fell swoop. When Mofeni saw this, he burst into tears. He saw that there would be absolutely no way for him to get out of slavery. There would be no way for him to emerge victorious in this situation. But uh, oh, for Eshu. Eshu Odara appeared to him in the form of a man. And Eshu Odara said, you know what? I know that there will be people who will want to purchase these animals. What you should do, you should preserve them. Go smoke them and preserve all of them so that you'll have them when, people might need them. So Mofeni decided he would do what this man said. So he preserved the animals. That's one thing we need to do as we get into this process of moving from grass to grace, that we need to listen to good counsel. And sometimes the counsel might sound a little crazy. And We need to be able to find someone, some process that we can trust, that we can hold on to. So within that process, Mofeni had preserved these animals. Eshwadar, in the form of a man, appeared to some other people. At the same time, the Alara, the heir of the Alara's throne, the son of the Alara, became very, very ill, very sick, and he came to the point where he was at the brink of death. The family went to cast Ifa, and Ifa said that they needed to prepare a medicine out of 10 chickens that had died, that were born from the same mother, that had died on the same day. Eshwadar appeared to them and said, "Hey, there's a man by the name of Mofeni, and he has these birds. You should go see him." So as that family was coming, Eshwadar came to Mofeni and said, "Look, there's some people coming, and they have lots of money. They will have no problem paying. So what you should do is charge 4 million calories per chicken." And I'm sure Mofeni was like, "Man, this is crazy. How can I do this? Like 4 million? Who would pay $4 million or 4 million per chick? Who would do that?" Okay, I'll listen to you. When the family came, they said, "We need 10 chickens born from the same mother that died on the same day." Mofeni said 4 million calories. And before he could get 4 million calories per chicken out, they came and they dropped 4 million per, which was basically, you know, millions of 40 million calories on his doorstep. He was like, "Wow, this is a trip." Then on the same day, the son of the Ajero, he became extremely, extremely ill, and he too was on the brink of death. The family cast Ifa. The Babalao told them, "Your son needs to offer a bowl with 10 chicks that had died born of the same mother that died on the same day." They went, and Eshwadar appeared to them and said, "There's a man. His name is Mofeni. You need to go see him. He has exactly what you need." So they went, packed up their things. Eshwadar appeared to Mofeni and said, "Look, it's a family. They had more money than the last family. What you need to do, you need to charge them 6 million calories per chick." Mofeni, by this time, he was like, "All right. I mean, that's crazy, but I'll do it." So he did what Eshwadar told him. The family showed up. They said, "We need 10 chickens that died on the same day, born of the same mother." And Mufeni said, 6 million per chick. And they paid it. Then on the same day, the Orarangun Aga, the child of the Orarangun Aga, he became extremely ill and to the brink of death. The family went to cast Ifa. Ifa said they needed the hen that had given birth to many, many baby chicks and died on the same day that the chicks died. Eshwadar appeared to the family and said, "There's a man, Mofeni, who has what you need." And he went to Mofeni and says, "There's a family coming. When they come, they have more money than the rest of them. So you need to charge them 100 million." So they show up, and at the end of it, Mofeni had millions and millions and millions of calories. He had so many calories, he had so much money, he didn't know what to do. Had so much money that Kifeani became his servant. Ifa is saying, those who write one off, you know not tomorrow. Where there is life, there is hope. We don't know what tomorrow brings for any of us. Could be something crazy, it could be something good, but if we can continue to move through, we will be great. We will be triumphant. Imagine had Mofeni decided to commit suicide. Imagine if Mufeni had decided to say, forget all this. I'm in a depressed state. Who is this guy talking to me? I don't even want to listen to him. I can't hear anybody. I can't hear anybody, can't hear anything through my pain. Imagine if he had done that. Ifa will give us some very interesting messages, and oftentimes in this process of going from grass to grace is not going to look like a straight path. It's going to have some wiggles in the road, and it's going to go up and down, and you're going to go up and then boom, and then it's going to feel like a roller coaster. And the main thing that you got to do through the whole process is hold on. Hold on. Hold on to the thing, to that which will not change. In Ogbeshe, Ifa says, the suffering of an Awo is not forever. The poverty of an Awo will soon turn to prosperity. Before long, we shall recline in comfort and laugh over this matter. We shall spread our two legs while sitting. These were the declaration of Ifa to Oshanla Oshere Magbo when going to buy a cripple as his first indentured servant. He was advised to offer a bow. He complied. Now, the servant that I have is nice servant. The servant that I have is making me money. The servant that I have has brought me prosperity. The servant that I have is a great servant. So if I say on this Odu, at this moment in time, Obatala wanted to purchase a servant. And during these times, people would put themselves into indentured servitude, much in the way that Monfeni had done. Because if they are having challenges in terms of making ends meet and they don't have the ability to make ends meet, oftentimes what they will do is put themselves into indentured servitude. And as they do this, they will work, work, work until they work off their debt. So, Obatala, also known as Oshanla or Shere Magbo, decided he was going to purchase a person who would be his servant. He went to Ifa, and Ifa casted Ifa to see what would be the best servant for him to pick. And as he did this, Ifa basically said, when you get there, pick the first servant you see. The first, basically, the first one you see, that's the one for you. It's like, okay. He offered a bow and went on about his business. He went to the market. And as he arrived at the market, he came upon the area where there were people who were indentured servants. And he saw one guy who's kind of chilling, laying on the ground. And o- Obatala said, that one, I want that one right there. I want that guy. He he will be my first servant. I want to purchase his debt and take him home, and we will work together. And Obatala needed things like raking up the leaves, picking up the trash around the shrines, collecting herbs for his preparations. That's the type of thing that Obatala needed. So he needed somebody to be up and walking around and doing different things and all these activities. And as he pointed out the man who was laying on the ground, the people asked, "Are you sure you want this guy?" Obatala was like, "Ashe, him." Ifa said, "Pick that one." And so Obatala picked this man, and the handlers the holders of the debt went over and picked the man up because he couldn't walk. The man that Obatala had picked as his servant couldn't walk, couldn't really move around very well. He was a cripple. So they picked him up, and Obatala was like, "Wait, what part of the game is this?" So they put Obatala paid his debt, and they put the man on his back. They put the slave, they put the servant on the back of Obatala. And Obatala carried him to his home. And I'm sure as Obatala was trudging, carrying the weight of this man who he just paid his debt, I'm sure he got to thinking, like, what was Ifa thinking when Ifa said pick the first guy? What was that all about? So he's walking, trudging up to his home, talking to the guy, and he lays the guy down, and he realizes that this man can't pick leaves. He can't rake up the debris. He can't do much of anything. So Obatala himself is taking care of his servant. The servant that he thought would take care of him, Obatala on the other end is actually taking care of his own servant. As he's doing this, he's thinking like, man, what? I don't even understand what was going on. But Ashe, interestingly enough, as Obatala was taking care of his servant, he and his servant began to strike up a very good, very close camaraderie, a good friendship. They became best buds. It was as if when Obatala would leave, he'd come back. Hey, man, this is what happened. And they became best of friends to the point where Obatala didn't really mind having to pay this man's debt and then take him in. He kind of thought like, well, he was supposed to be my servant, but maybe Ifa just meant I was supposed to have a really good friend, and this is my buddy. This is my homeboy. We're cool, and this is a good experience. And the man who was Obatala's servant eventually said, Obatala, I want to do something special for you. I want to help you. It's like, okay, I'm sure Obatala was thinking, like, how can this guy help me? And Obatala then wondered, and his servant said, well, look, what I want you to do, you have a house up the hill. I want you to leave me there. And as you leave me there, what I will do, I want to make a special gift for you. So Batala is like, okay, I mean, how's my friend going to fare? How's he gonna fend for himself as he lives in this house, in my house up the hill? How's he gonna take care of himself? And his friend insisted, leave me there. I will be fine. Obatala takes him there. And Obatala is going about his own business. And at certain points, I'm sure Obatala began to miss his friend. After a couple of weeks, he goes up to see his buddy. And his friend says, hey, Obatala, good to see you. Hey, come on in. I got something for you. And he had made this wonderful crown of feathers. And the feathers were made of red parrot feathers from the African gray parrot. I was like, how'd you get these? Unbeknownst to him, his servant was actually an expert bird catcher. And he could catch any kind of bird and take the feathers, nurture the bird, do all of these things. So that is what he did. And his friend began to make these crowns. Obatala went to his various festivals. He went to the festival for Oshun. Oshun saw the crown and she was like, yo, I want one just like that. Obatala was like, hey, my servant makes these. My friend, well, he's not my servant, he's my friend. So she went and she paid top dollar for a crown. And she went where Shango was. Shango's like, man, that crown is fire. Where can I get one? She then says, oh, well, Obatala has a friend who makes them. And she went there and Shango went and got his crown made. It went on and on and on. Yemonja, Ogun, all the Irumole, they decided they wanted a crown too. And by the end of it, the suffering that Obatala thought he was experiencing transformed into incredible wealth, not only for Obatala, but also for Obatala's servant. Ifa is saying, your suffering will not last. The suffering we experience will soon turn to prosperity. Last but not least, I want to talk about a story from the Odu Oturpon Ogunda. And in many of these cases, as I said before, the Orisha, the Irumole are going through their challenges. And as they go through their challenges and triumph, if we follow the same way they went, we too shall triumph. So in this Ifa, all 401 Irumole were going to a war and they're going to fight this town called Agbo Foluke. And they knew that they would defeat them in war. And they knew that if once they defeated them, they would be able to have all the spoils of war, all the good aspects of war. They'd have all the money, they'd have all the wealth, all these things. And all the Irumole went for the war, and Orumila stayed behind. Orumila decided, you know what, let me cast Ifa first. So Orumila cast Ifa, and he said, Ifa, will I too have all the spoils of this war of Agbo Foluke? And Ifa said, no, it will not be profitable for you at first. No. Orumila said, can I go with everybody at this time? If I said no, don't go. Do not go now. And Orumila was like, wow. Like this is a shoot and everybody's gonna win. Everybody's gonna come up. And as he waited at particular points, he would see all the Irumole coming back from the war with loads of money, loads of wealth, riches, all these things, and transforming their lives as a result of going to this war. And Orumila finally asked, can I now go? And Ifa said, yes, you can go. Orumila went into Agbo Foluke and there was nothing left. It was totally picked over. Everything was taken. And it wasn't until Orumila walked up and all he saw was some bata drums. And Eshro Dara appeared to him. He said, hey, just take those. Just take those drums. All those drums, Take those. So Orumila then took the drums, and all the other Irumole, as I said, were walking away with tons of money, wealth untold, all these wonderful things. And Orumila is walking away with a set of batas. And he wasn't happy. He was like, yo, everybody else got all this stuff. And look at me. I'm suffering. I just got some drums. And when it comes time for Orumila's Ifa festival, he decides, well, I'll use the drums that I got at Agbo Fuluke. So he uses those drums and they play very well. The drummers played and these drums were magnificent. All the Orumile showed up and they're like, man, Orumila, your Ifa festival was incredible. The drums, everybody was dancing, it was popping, lit. And Shango says, well, you know what? Last year when I had my festival, man, it was drab, dull. Nobody danced. It was whack. Maybe I can use these drums. Eshodar tells Orumila, Shango may want to use the drums. What you should do is ask him to divide everything that he got at Agbo Foluke and give it to you to use the drums. He does. Shango gives him the loot, and then Shango's Odun was incredible. It was magnificent. Then Oshun was at the party, and she was like, "Man, Shango, your party was fire. Let me use those drums." Shango says, "No, you gotta go to Orumila. Orumila has those drums." And she went to Orumila and she says, "Look, ask her to divide half of what she got at Agbo Foluke." He does. She does. She gives him half of everything she got. Has her drumming, and it was incredible. Obatala comes. Ogun comes. All the Orumila essentially come to Orumila because they're like, look, man, I need your drums. And they get those drums. Everybody paid half of what they received at Agbo Fuluke. So by the end of this, Orumila, Orumila had half of what every one of the Irumole got at the War of Agbo Fuluke. So Orumila ended up having the most. Orumila went from a situation where he had nothing, where Ifa said, don't go. And Ifa said, now you can go. And then he was able to be triumphant. And he was so triumphant that he was more successful than everyone else. Ifa says that when you're moving from grass to grace, what will happen? What will happen is that the thing oftentimes that will make you succeed at first is going to make you sad. At first it's going to make you wonder, it's going to make you contemplate, man, what am I doing? I look stupid out here doing this. Why am I doing this? Why am I offering this bow, man? Why the Babalaos say bring this goat, bring that hat and this and that and bring those things and put them together? I look crazy. If I tell my family members what's going on, they're going to laugh at me. What you know is not what you know. What is going to make you succeed at first is going to make you sad. It's going to make you sometimes feel a little off, feel a little confused. But then it's going to make you triumphant. I thought of this song. I was listening to the radio the other day, and this song has oftentimes become one of my mantras as I work out. And it's with Meek Mill and Rick Ross, Lamborghini Doors. And I remember listening to it and I was like, man, this is crazy. Meek Mill was in prison at the time for a trumped up charge, busting wheelies, popping wheelies on a motorcycle. And he was in jail. Rick Ross went to visit him. But as he was in jail, the song starts with him chanting this mantra. And many of us, we can sing this to ourselves when we start feeling down. He said, started off poor with plans to own more, to riding under stars, the life we live for. Dreaming of things we can't afford, but now we coming up like them Lamborghini doors. Woo! What you talking about? I'm going up like Lamborghini doors. You see how the Lamborghini doors, they go up, they don't open out. But it's a metaphor, a beautiful, powerful metaphor. And this metaphor means so much to people who don't have. If you didn't have, and now you have. If you were a have not and now you are have got, you ought to be screaming right now. If you 10 years ago you had problems and now you have something great, you have something to be thankful for. You came from grass to grace. If you five years ago were sick and now you're well, you went from grass to grace. You coming up like them Lamborghini doors. That's what I'm talking about. This is the process of going from grass to grace. So what I want everybody to think about is, how have we transformed in the last year? How have we gone from a challenging position to actually a great and wonderful position now? Because everyone has that story. Every one of us has a grass to grace story, a grass to grace moment, and we need to honor it. Thank you all so much. Abora Aboye, thank you so much for tapping in with us today. So many things going on, and you joined us. So we're happy to see you. This has been such a great experience, particularly for me. Today is my Odun, or I'm kind of celebrating the Odun today. It was actually on November 7th. So, yeah, I'm so happy, thankful to Ifa. So I wanted to do just at least have something positive to accentuate the shrine. So that's why I got my picture. I'm not like narcissistic. I just want to give praise to Ifa and also be thankful. Um, so that's what that is about. So thank you all once again for joining us. I hope that everyone got a good message out of what we talked about today. I want us to continue to elevate. We have some things that are coming up. Those of you who live in the Los Angeles area, we cast Ifa regarding the political situation, the political climate. If you are interested in offering a bow with us, please, please let us know. I've put up a flyer on Instagram and Facebook. So if you are interested, please, please join us. No amount it will be pushed away or turned down. So whatever you can offer, we'll take, because we definitely need it. We definitely need to transform the situation here, not only in Los Angeles but also in America. So we're doing that. We have other events that we're working on. Those of you who live in the Los Angeles area and you know of a decent place that we can go to and have in-person processes, in-person services, please, 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 please let us know and talk to your people. I'm going to talk to my people so we can make things happen, because we're really eager to have in-person services. So if you all know of any places, please let us know. We thank you so very much. So with that, I want to end our service with prayer. Olodumare, we thank you for life, health, strength, food, clothing, and shelter. We thank you for all the wonderful things that you provided for us. We ask that you would help us to see our blessings, and not only see our blessings, but to see how far we've come. Help us to understand that we all have grass to grace stories, and help us to accentuate them and continue to move up and up and up in our greatness, in our destiny, in our blessings. Help us throughout this week till we see you in the following weeks. Aboro Aboy, Abushishe. Thank y'all for tuning in, tapping in with us, and we'll see you in another week. Aboro Boy.